Hey everyone. Today I really wanted to talk a little bit about some healthy expression and handling of emotions. And I know, especially if there are problems going on in the marriage, the emotions can really ramp up high. And whether, that's fear or shame or anger or whatever, it's really important to handle those emotions well and to be, but also at the same time, be able to express them and let them out. Um, it's really important when working on your marriage, knowing how to handle these, how to understand emotions, how they impact you, how they impact your spouse, and how to direct them in a positive direction. Because even emotions that are commonly thought of as negative, things like fear and anger, shame, disgust, or sadness, it can all be directed well and become something to pull you forward, if you properly use those emotions. Now, what we do with emotions, it might not seem like a choice, but it is. And you can choose what you want to do with these negative emotions or even with the positive emotions. For example, just a quick example, fear sometimes might cause worry, and you may be able to choose to cut through your worry or cut it out entirely, but that doesn't necessarily get rid of the fear. So we need to figure out how to understand it, how to express it well, how to actually harness those emotions. Now, first I wanted to specifically address the so-called negative emotions. Things like, I keep mentioning these: fear and anger, shame, disgust, sadness. And I want to start off by saying that there are no negative emotions. And the only negativity is how we use those emotions. It's okay for someone to be angry about the way their child is treated, and then to do something to right that wrong. As long as it's with respect and responsibility, and it's okay to feel sadness over a loss. Especially if you use that sadness to reach out for help, to connect with another human being, or even to use it to keep you going, from going down that negative path again. It's even okay for you to feel shame if you use that shame as an indicator that you need to change. However, with these same feelings, it wouldn't be okay to scream or to lash out in anger or to wallow in your sadness and ask for people's pity or to hide away from others when you feel that shame. It depends on what you do with these emotions. It's not the emotions that are wrong, it's what you do with them. You might have fear, but that doesn't mean, like I said, you don't have to take that fear and create worry. You might have anger, but you don't have to be mean. The problem that we encounter is that we often try to label certain emotions as negative. And the more we label these difficult emotions as negative, the greater the odds that we'll start to overvalue our positive emotions and undervalue these negative ones, making it too much of a virtue just to be happy, to be upbeat, to be optimistic, when in reality, there are times when we're not these things, and we need to address them. We need to listen to these emotions because they're good indicators of what's going on, that we need to do something. When this happens, when we start to undervalue the negative emotions and overvalue the positive emotions, people they often camouflage the real emotions because the real emotions aren't accepted well. This creates some shallow intimacy, and it discourages people from opening up or even receiving other people and some of the, when they're expressing these emotions here. So what do we do about all this? How do we give or receive emotions better? And the key here is to be more intimate with emotions in general. And I'm going to explain that. But this goes for men, it goes for women, it goes for women helping men, it goes for men helping women, and everywhere in between. What this is really about, it's about listening to emotions, about seeing what they're telling us, and then addressing what's really going on. For example, I was working with a woman, this was a while back, and she had an adulterous husband. And he was already out the door, and she didn't know how to handle this. So she was hurt, she was frustrated, she was angry. She thought to herself, okay, how could he do this to me? And I get it. Some people might say that she was justifiably angry. Still, there might be others that would say that, okay, she should let him know how she felt. She should put that out there. And what ended up fixing the situation, helping her to feel heard, and actually to bring her and her husband closer together, was to actually examine her emotions and to coach her on how to examine his. Things didn't change until both parties actually understood what was going on for the other person. It was really easy to say, you did this and you did that, and I'm hurt, and blah, blah, pointing fingers and pointing blame and shifting the responsibility to the other person. And it didn't begin to resolve itself until we went the other way. We started to offer understanding and empathy. So after teaching her how to encourage openness, she talked with her husband and figured out why he was hurting, and offered understanding. Even though she was the one that was hurting herself, she offered understanding. But I also helped her to be able to express to him her fears, her concerns, and her anger. And this was all opened up because she offered that understanding first. The negative emotions, here, fear and anger, shame, were clear indicators that something was wrong. And it's not something that should be ignored, reduced, or diverted. They simply needed to be channeled and understood. Certainly, she could have taken that anger and lashed out. She could have yelled. She could have screamed. She could have accused him of, being uncaring and mean, and he would have just come right back, and it would have escalated. So now a couple people ask some very specific questions about this topic, and I wanted to get into those simply because I thought that they went well here. I absolutely love these questions and thought they flowed really nicely with some of these principles, and so I wanted to talk about that. So first, the question, so how can you lead or help your spouse to express emotions in a healthy way during conflict? And like I said, I love this question because it comes up a lot, and I get why it could be frustrating. You have a spouse and they might be showing a lot of sadness or showing a lot of anger, and it's difficult to deal with them during these times. Let's see. So the other reason why I love this is the solution to this is actually fairly simple, even if it does need some practice. You're going to guide this situation with a very simple statement. You seem blank, and then you insert whatever emotion you think is there, and then you follow up with what's going on. So usually just by offering some understanding and empathy goes a long way toward reducing tension, anger, upset feelings. And we do this naturally when someone is crying. We go to that person and we ask them what's wrong. And, but we don't usually do this with people who are feeling ashamed or angry. And we assume that, okay, they're the one being mean, and so they need to show understanding. But usually you can fix a lot of things by being the one that offers that understanding first. Now, perhaps you've already shown some understanding. You have that sad spouse, and you ask them what's wrong, and they keep being sad about this. Right there, it's about being intimate with that emotion and going one step further and talking about, okay, you seem like you're sad a lot. There's that statement, you seem blank. What's going on? And then what can we do about that? What can we do? Bringing yourself there together as a team, what can we do about that? I had another question here. So the next question that came up was, okay, what's a way of getting your point across or sharing your emotions without lecturing? So this here, it might seem counterintuitive, but I'm going to give a very similar answer. And you need to start by understanding them. If you're sad or upset about something your partner did, and you can tell them about that, certainly. You can get that point across. You can tell them, but you do so without accusation, without blame, and then you move towards understanding. Thanks, Jennifer. You can ask them what they were feeling, what was going on, and it's really about that. As soon as you offer that understanding, and as soon as you offer that empathy, it turns less from that lecturing. It stops feeling like a lecture and turns into more of a conversation, more of something that you can both come together on. You'll find often that there's a lot more going on than what presents itself on the surface. For instance, like an alcoholic man might have heard how his actions are wrong 1,000 times, I'm sure. But it's less likely that it's understood that he's trying to drown his depression away, that it's difficult to give up because alcohol is the only thing that he can feel that can help him to feel better, or that without it he feels paralyzed with fear. And once they have that opened up, it really allows you to share your emotions, to share your point. But if you go into it wanting to tell them off or to get your point across, it's absolutely going to fail. Oh, Maria's saying that's breaking up. I apologize for that. If you have some questions, if anyone else is having problems hearing it, let me know. We'll get the replay going, see if there's still some questions. If you have questions, put it in the comments still. If you missed something, put it in the comments and I'll try to address it afterward. With all this said, though, I do want to express, I want you to express how you're feeling to your spouse. When I'm saying offer them understanding, offer them empathy, I'm not saying be quiet and don't tell them how you're hurting. It's still more about going a little bit deeper than just expressing that hurt. Okay, so it looks like there's some people who can hear it, some people who can't. So, like I said, try to listen to the replay maybe afterward, and we'll see if we can get things settled. I want you to, when you are expressing these emotions, though, when you're expressing the hurt and the pain, I want you to leave out the blame. I want you to leave out the finger pointing. I want you to leave out the accusations and talk about how it feels for you, and go a little bit deeper and give a little bit more explanation. And oftentimes, helping your partner to understand those emotions really goes a long way as well. It helps you to feel understood, and it helps them to understand you. Now, if you're still feeling stuck with all this, let us know. Like I said, if people are have more questions about this, let us know. Put it in the comments here. It's exactly what we're here for. And we want to help you feel heard, and we want to help you to be able to talk to your husband or wife. I mean, that's really what this is all about. I mean, I know a lot of you want that intimate and close relationship, that one where you can actually share your feelings and talk about things. And whether that's you're feeling anger or fear, shame, sadness, joy, love, whatever, we need to listen to what our emotions are telling us and do something about that. Leonore asks, she says her husband, she says, my husband says I'm always questioning him when I want to talk. How do I go about it in a way to get him to open up? What that tells me right there is that your husband does not feel comfortable with that conversation. It could be that at other times he has felt questioned, or I'm guessing that there's more to it than just feeling questioned, because asking questions can be an innocent thing. And so if he's telling you this, if he's saying, I always feel questioned when you talk, like you're second guessing me, you want to get intimate with that feeling, with that emotion, with that whatever he's feeling there. Go a little bit deeper. You can ask him, you can say, you seem uncomfortable here. What's going on? So it's, once again, that statement, you seem blank, what's going on? Because that's really the barrier between you talking. It's not, it's not that, you know, you guys can't talk. There's that barrier there, that he feels uncomfortable when you do talk. And when you can address that, when you can get intimate on that emotion, it's really going to open things up. If anyone else has any other quick questions, I'll try and answer them here. I appreciate your question there, Leonore. If not, I do encourage people, oh, and we have one more. How can you create a level of comfort or help your spouse feel safe to open up without judgment when in the past there's not been that environment? That is an excellent, excellent question. Because, you know, when I was talking a little bit ago about, you know, Leonore's question about feeling comfort, it is really about that safety. And oftentimes, you know, if that safety has been violated, if things feel unsafe, it's really hard to get back there. But there's absolutely ways that you can build up that safety again. And it's usually by addressing what's going on, like I was mentioning there. If you can talk to them and say, you know what, it seems like you're uncomfortable here, just like Leonore's husband. It seems like you're uncomfortable. I would really like to be able to talk with you. What's going on? So you seem blank. What's going on? And you're clarifying what your intentions are. A lot of the times when there's that lack of safety, it's really easy to have some negative interpretations going on. You go into a conversation and your spouse thinks, okay, they're just going to question me. We're just going to get into this argument. These negative interpretations, these negative predictions. And so as much as you can, for right now, you might need to clarify your intentions. I really just want to understand you, and I want to see what's going on. And I want us to feel comfortable coming together. If there's more ways that you can build up trust and hope that you guys can actually talk about things safely, that's going to be kind of a more drawn out question situation that needs some more building up. But just, you know, at the immediate level, I would try that, addressing the barrier and seeing if that cracks things. I imagine it should, but if it doesn't, please let us know. It means that it's a little bit deeper, and we need to take a different approach there. All right. So like I said, if people have more questions, please let us know. Appreciate you guys showing up, and I'd like to continue this discussion in the comments. Thanks for watching.